So first question, why is this trip important to you and the district?
Thank you, Mike. It's important for several reasons. The first thing is the Council for Great City Schools Conference was meeting here, and it's a way for us to understand just the federal impacts that are happening to public education. So it was good for us to be here as representatives of San Diego Unified, one of the larger urban districts of the nation, to understand this piece. The second piece that was also happening was it was important for us to speak to our government partners in order for them to understand our current asks and our current needs, but also our current work. So for example, we had 4 different appointments today. And one of the things we talked about was how we are taxpayer stewards. We've been spending the money for and investing in our children the way that we should, so much so that we are the top ranking district in the nation as far as NAEP scores are concerned. So we have been doing our due diligence with the money afforded to us in the investment of public education, but there's some things that we need more support.
How important is federal funding to the district and what would be the impact if it is diminished?
It is pretty important. We get about $166 million from the federal government. Specifically, the issues that are important to us related to those funds are that this is where IDEA gets funded. That is all of our funding for special education. Currently, we only get about 4% of the funding that's afforded to us, so we've never been fully funded there. We also have a need to ensure that all of the money that we can support our military families in Title funds also gets fully funded. We like to wrap ourselves around the needs of military children and ensure that they get supports, especially when their parents get deployed. We are also very interested in continuing the nutrition programs with our children. We believe that that is a right that every child should have meals and are able to learn with a full belly. And so those are some things that we are really thinking about, like how are we making sure that we're taking care of our special education needs, students and all of their needs, making sure that our students have breakfast and lunch, and also making sure that our military students get the supports that they need.
You spoke with San Diego and California legislators today. What was your message to them?
It was, how can we be partners in this? How can we continue to be partners in educating the children in our community? And how can we continue to ensure that we have the conditions necessary for them to be learning with joy? And that is something that we talked about. We said it's really important for us not only for children to be, literate and come to school and graduate, but also feel joy. And some of the things that are in the proposals are actually cut some of the programs that we know are necessary for children to thrive.
What would you like to say to families that have students in San Diego Unified?
I actually would love to get into conversations about what this actually means. I understand the frustration with public education. I have some of my own. So I understand this want of like really taking into account how it is that we're investing these funds. So I understand that. And I also understand that there's a lot of ways that we can also be very transparent about how we're spending this money and why we need certain monies to continue. So I would love to get into conversation, have some sort of FAQ, something that unites us to understand this, because it's important for all families. This goes beyond any sort of political lines. It's really about how a community like San Diego wraps its arms around our children.
Dr. Bagula, thank you very much.
Thank you.